Hey, what's poppin' guys, Sizzle here, and this is a video guide on how to compress video files without actually losing any quality at all, but you do really compress the files. For example, recently I did a video on all the Mario Kart Retro Rewind ghosts, which is just the raw recording right here. As you can see, is 256 gigabytes because it is 4K resolution, 60 FPS. The files are just really big when you're recording at that high of a resolution and frame rate. And I found out with this video that apparently YouTube has an upload limit of 256 gigabytes. If it's at or above 256, they won't put it up on YouTube. They just won't even take the file. So you need to make it a little bit smaller. The problem is I couldn't really make this video smaller without losing the content inside of it. So I had to find a way to compress this without really losing quality. And it's kind of unfortunate too, because the limit's at 256 and I'm at like 256, like with like an extra 0.01 or something. Like I'm right there, but you can see 5 hours of footage, right? So what I did first is I tried rendering it in my video editing software. I didn't actually do any editing or anything, and that actually brought up the file size to 277 gigabytes because I have higher quality things on here, I suppose. Or the MOV file type just does more or something. I don't really know. Point being, it got bigger, which was obviously a problem, so I had to find out how to make it smaller, and eventually I did. And after, as you can see here in this screenshot, after over a day of rendering, right, we look right here, 1 day, 2 hours, 14 minutes, 50 seconds, and there was still 4 minutes left, and it did take about exactly 4 minutes to finish. Then I got the reduced file that this gave me, which I will go show you the results of right now. You can see the final file, which I upload to YouTube, still 5 hours, 6 minutes, 21 seconds, is 47 gigabytes, 47.1, from 277 to 47.1. That is night and day. That's like a fifth of the size, and the quality is about the same. Now, I can't really show it off here too well because the recordings are in 4K, my screen's in 2K, and then the recording for this video is actually in 1080p. This was a very special case of me doing a 4K recording. I normally record in 1080p and then upscale it. But you can look here, like if we go to, where was I, like, I know, somewhere around here, like 140/20, you'd see solid quality. That's the original video, very high quality 4K resolution. I go to the, one that's a fifth of the size, and I go to that exact same timestamp of 140/17. And you can see, quality's the same, frame rate's the same, everything's the same. It's just a smaller file. They do some absolute magic behind the scenes with the software to accomplish it. And yeah, let me now show you how to do that. It's very simple. Like I said though, fair warning, if you have large files, it will just take a while. This is true for any video editing or anything anyway, right? Like the original thing where I took this video file and I re-rendered it, that took, I think, about 8 hours to render the 5 hours of footage that had 0 edits done to it. So if you do any editing, it'll do even longer. Do you expect like a lot of time? I didn't expect a day, to be honest, but the results do speak for themselves. I mean, a fifth the file size is frankly ridiculous for about 2 times the rendering time, and that's because of the settings I had enabled, which I just did to be safe because I wanted it to be small enough to be on YouTube, and I kind of overdid it. So let me actually show you how to do those settings and how to use this software. So first, hit open source, and you'll be on this screen. You could either do file to open a specific file, or just drag in the file like I will right here. This is a 10-second test recording, by the way. It's not anything special. And from here, what you want to do is go from the preset and change it. It will default you to one of these, like fast or very fast or whatever. And those can be great if you do 30 FPS footage or whatever. But I'm not doing that. I'm a YouTube gaming creator, so I need my 60 FPS footage. So I have to go to web, the section right here, and do creator 1080p 60. It'll automatically do whatever it has to do right here. You could see everything is at a very solid thing. We got the right resolution limit, got everything else going on there. It's worth noting here in the video section, change H.264 to H.265 if that's available to you, and change peak frame rate to constant frame rate so that the frame rate is constant because you want a constant frame rate. Constant quality, this is one of the things you can change. This will make the quality of the video like technically lower, but it's very hard to discern with the human eye where the right quality is. For most people, 20 should be okay. For this specific Mario Kart video, I actually had it lowered to 23. and I personally can't notice the difference, but I'm sure somebody else can. Then the only other thing worth changing, maybe, is the encoder preset here. I think for most people, fast should be absolutely fine, but do note the further right you drag this, the more quality you will retain, but the longer it will take. For me, the one that took a day, I had it set to slow because I wanted the most quality possible. That was the whole point of recording in 4K. But I wasn't sure how much it would compress it, like, if I did it faster, because I think it compresses it a little bit less if you do faster. But fast should work for most people, as I've come to find out after the fact. And yeah, these are pretty much all the settings you'd want. I guess you could add audio and subtitles and all that if you need any of that, but most people, I don't think, need that. Once you're done with all that, all you have to do is hit the Start Encode button. Some neat features are you can hit pause, and it'll actually pause mid-process. Because my rendering took a whole day, I had to pause it multiple times. I think the actual real time of me rendering was like 3 days, because I could only really run this while I wasn't using my computer. It did use a lot of processing power. But then you can just hit resume, and it'll start where it started up. You can stop it if you fuck something up or whatever. And yeah, you can see right here, it gives you an estimate and all that, and then it finishes. And now we can see our original recording, which was already the small size of 2 megabytes, became 500 kilobytes. It's like a third of the size in a fraction of a second. To be fair, these were 10-second recordings, so it did render much faster. But if I go here, quality is there. There's nothing like notably off with this or anything. If I go to the original recording, it looks the exact same. The audio is the exact same. I don't have the audio recorded, but just trust me that the audio is the same. And yeah, that's how you compress video files. It's super, super useful software. The download for this software will be linked in the description. I didn't feel like showing off how to download software in this video. You just hit the download button, and then you run the exe file to install it. Pretty straightforward. That's how you install like everything on a Windows computer. With that being said, hopefully you found this useful. Comment below if you have any other questions or whatever. And have a great rest of your day.